Hello guys. Good evening. Welcome to the session today. Hope you guys are doing good. So let us start the session. So if you remember, let me just recap. Give you a recap. So we have seen what is why we need a cloud. Because a company cannot be able to take care of its own infrastructure, and if it has to take care of it, there are plenty of the things it has to manage, and there has to be effort needed. There is a plenty of time as well as money has to be invested. So instead of that, they can rent the services. That's where the cloud came into the picture. Okay, so one of such cloud is a Google Cloud platform, and you'll be able to see the difference between the on-premises and cloud computing. Managing own infrastructure is nothing but a on-premises, or managing the infrastructure with help of the cloud provider is nothing but a cloud computing. Okay, so we have seen the difference between the on-premises as well as cloud, and we have three working models in the cloud. One is VM-based services, managed services, serverless services. When you are working in on-premises, you as a company or you as a project has to take care of everything on your own. But when you are working in a cloud, you have a flexibility to work with the three different various of services, category of services. That is VM-based and managed and serverless. And this is where we learned about the Google Cloud Platform, nothing but one of the leading cloud provider, which offers wide range of services as products for creating your own infrastructure as well as running your application and building your CI/CD, everything. Okay. And this is the category of services that the GCP offering us: compute, identity, networking, big data, as well as storage and databases, machine learning services as well. Okay, and why we need to learn the GCP? And it's because it's a market leader, and industry adaptation will be there, and comprehensive service portfolio, integration and compatibility with all other services, and it also provides you the machine learning capabilities, global infrastructure. The infrastructure is categorized into 5 locations as well as 33 regions as well as 117 zones. And it also provides you the certification as well as career growth. And there is a growth rate you'll be able to see. I can, with my personal experience, I would say that it's going to be providing you the plenty of opportunities. There are plenty of professionals needed because there are plenty of projects are there, but the manpower is less. And the GCP, the roles offered: GCP developer, GCP DevOps engineer, GCP data engineer, BI developer, GCP admin. This course is mainly designed for the GCP data engineer guys. And if you wanted to interact with the GCP services, so these are the services. If you wanted to interact with these GCP services, you have a console, which is nothing but a user interface tool, and you have a shell, which is nothing but a command line tool. You have a API and client libraries where you will be able to interact with the services. You have a web applications or a web services or an applications also. You can able to interact with the different services from here as well. And this is what is a cloud console we have seen, and that is what cloud shell also we have seen. And the choice of method depends on your preference and work requirements, and you will be able to interact with any of these methods. And I have shown you how the console looks like and how you can create an account and how to create a project, and all of those things also I have shown you. And the GCP, coming to the GCP locations, in GCP locations we have total 5 locations: North America, South America, Europe, Asia, and Australia. And out of 5 locations, these locations are further divided into regions, and we have total 37 regions. And these regions are further divided into zones. They are the division and logical abstraction of these regions and zones is mainly to provide you the high availability and the performance optimization, as well as the better availability. Okay, so that is what is the one more fault tolerance, also one more important thing. So we have 37 regions, 112 zones, and this is how it is divided. You will be able to see here the zones, regions, sorry. GCP organized into regions and zones. Each region is a collection of zones, and we have 5 regions. you will be able to see US and Europe. Europe is a multi-region. Inside the Europe, you will be having a Europe West 2, Europe West 3, Europe West 4. That is nothing but a multi-region. Each region, if I take Europe West 2, you will be having a zones like West 2A, West 2B, West 2C. That is a nomenclature. And this is, if you think that this is a location and these are the regions, and inside the region we will be having a zone A, zone B, zone C, zone D, and each region you will be able to see the difference, right? So it is connected. Okay, zone A, zone B, zone C, zone D. 1 minute, guys. It is zone D, and I wanted to make it more highlighted. It's not looking at, because these are connected. My main importance is that it is connected together. Okay. Okay, you'll be able to see that zones. Inside that we have a zones. Zones are connected together, and each zone will have its own set of resources. Okay, zone A is having virtual machines and disk. Zone B will have its own set of resources. You will be able to see the main difference between the regions and zones here. Region is nothing but an independent geographic area. Each region consists of one or more data center. The regions are designed to provide high availability and low latency for applications. And zones, a zone is a deployment area, because zone consists of your resources, and the resources, on top of the resources only we are going to deploy our applications. That's the reason a zone is nothing but a deployment area within the Google Cloud region. And zones are physically separate from each region and connected via high bandwidth and low latency network. And if you take US is one of the location. Inside US you have one of the region called US Central 1. Inside the region of US Central 1, you will be having a US Central 1A is your zone, 1B is your zone, 1C is your zone. Okay. And there is a minimum criteria also. Each region will have a minimum 3 zones. Okay. So that is the limitation. I mean, minimum requirement is that each region will have its minimum 3 zones. More than that, any number of can be there. Okay. And the region and zone selection should be done via proximity, and one more is via fault tolerance, and the third one is via cost, pricing, and availability of the resources. And understanding this gives you many idea how you can deploy your applications based on the high availability and resilience and optimal performance and data compliance requirements. And let us take it from here today. And GCP, IAM, and admin, very important topic. GCP, IAM, and admin is mainly designed in the GCP, not only in the GCP, even though if you go to your Azure, also if you go to your AWS, you will be having this IAM concept. IAM is nothing but an identity access management. Okay, what is that, sir? Identity access management. The name itself, it is saying that identity, if there is an identity, nothing but a user or an account or anything, access has to be provided. So that management of identities and their access is nothing but a IAM. It is one of the concept in the GCP, mainly for the security as well as providing the access to the individual, controlling the access to the individual users. Okay, now a very important security aspect in the GCP to take care of who will be having access to what kind of resources in the GCP. So for example, assume that I have one person here. Nothing, one person, when I say for the GCP, it is nothing but one account, one Gmail, okay, one Google Mail. Okay, for GCP, you are one member on the earth, but you will be one account on the GCP, right? So for example, for the GCP, if this account can do what on the GCP, is totally explained by the IAM. Okay, what IAM explains us, an account, if you have, what he can do in the GCP, what he can do, whether he can able to create a cluster, or whether he can able to create a bucket inside the Google Cloud Storage, or delete a bucket, or move the data from one bucket to the another bucket, or what kind of access he will be having in the GCP is totally explained by the IAM and admin. So let us see what is actually this one. Okay, IAM, identity and access management. It is a permission. If you can look at it here, for example, so what actually happens is that See, I have a user. I have a group of users. Assume that, okay, let me give you a small example. Assume that you are working in a project. Okay, inside the project, you will be having 3 people. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. You are working with help. You need to have access to the GCS. Okay, you need to have access to the BigQuery. Okay, either it can be a one user or group of users, right? Here in this project, I have a group of users. So these users wanted to interact with the GCP. Okay, if one wanted to interact with the GCP, that's where IAM comes into the picture. Okay, who, nothing but these people who can do what on which resources. Who, what, which explains by the IAM, sir. If you can see clearly, who is nothing but a you or your colleagues or your team members or your friends or anyone. If one wanted to do one thing, nothing but a who is nothing but a identity. Okay, who can do what? So what he can do? For example, this person wanted to create a bucket in the GCP. Nothing. What is actually specifying kind of action? Okay, what nothing but it is implying that what kind of action that he can do. Okay, what kind of action? So if he wanted to do some action, he needs a permission. So that, for example, this is an action. If that action need to be done, provided, the IAM need to give you the permission. So that is what IAM. So who can do what on which resources? Resources nothing but all the services in the GCP, which means all the services in the GCP. Who can do what on which resources is totally explained by the IAM. IAM, the name itself again here you can see here. I is nothing but a who. Identity nothing but a who. Access nothing but a you are going to provide them the access. And you are going to manage this entire access as well as identities, nothing but a IAM. Okay, let us see it one more round so that you will be able to get a good idea. Sorry, here you can able to see. Here you see it. Identity access management. With IAM, you can manage access control by defining who has what access for which resource. Okay, who is nothing but a one person. Can do what implies a what kind of an action that he can do on which resources. It is implying that either it is a GCS or a BigQuery or a data proc or a data flow. So there are plenty of the resources in the GCP. So IAM talks about the authorization. Okay, IAM talks about the authorization. Let us further see it. Who are these identities? Who is what is meant by who? So let us look at it. Who point. So identities are principles. Who is nothing but identities, sir? Identities are principles. In the GCP, we don't just say who, right? We just say them as identities are principles. An identity can be a user account. An identity can be a service account. An identity can be a Google Groups. User account is nothing but a one user. A group means nothing but a more than one user. More than one user. Okay, so that is what a service account is nothing but an account of an application account. User account is nothing but a human account. You and me having an account, right? That is nothing but we are the humans. The account that is associated for us. For example, if I wanted to interact with any of the service in the GCP, I need to create an account. I told you that account is nothing but a user account, nothing but a human account. Service account is nothing but a application account or a inhuman account. It is not a human account, it is a inhuman account. We will see what is the importance of the service account in our upcoming classes, but I will tell you service account is mainly to interact with the different services without our human intervention. So that is what we will see in our upcoming sessions. But service account is nothing but an application account or a service account, the account used by the service. A Google Groups is nothing but a group of people. A group of user accounts is nothing but a Google Groups. Okay. Now let us see what is identity. An identity in GCP represents either a user or a group of users or a service account. This is what I have given in the form of a diagram. It can be an individual user account or a group of users with the similar roles or responsibilities. Okay, so that means, for example, if you are this is your project, if you are only one person, that is nothing but an individual. If with you, if you have a team members and they are also the data engineers, these are nothing but three accounts, nothing but a group of accounts, group of users we are going to call. And an individual user account or a group of users account with the similar roles and responsibilities, that is nothing but a user account and Google groups. And one more is identity can also refers to a service account, which is an account used by the applications and services to authenticate and interact with the GCP's resources programmatically. What is that mean, sir? For example, this is me. Okay, so I can manually create a table in the BigQuery. Okay, I can go and manually create a table in the BigQuery, or I can also create a table in the BigQuery via data proc or data flow. See here, what is the difference? Now, see, I am interacting with the data proc, but data proc interacting with the BigQuery. But who provided you the access to data proc to interact with the BigQuery? So let me make it very clear here. So here, this is me. Now here it is data proc, and the data proc interacting with the BigQuery. Okay, earlier what I used to do is that I can directly create a table in the BigQuery, but it is a manual. I don't want it to create the table manually all the time. Okay, because it is a manual effort for me. What I will do it, I will automate it. So data pipeline, I will create it. Data proc is something one of the where we can able to create the data pipelines. Okay, DPs, data pipelines we can able to create. If I create one of the data pipeline and schedule it, what it will do automatically every day it will be creating a table inside the BigQuery. That is fine for me. But now the problem is that who given the access to the data proc to create a table? Who provided? Someone has to provide the access to the data proc to BigQuery, but how to provide it? The question is who provided the data proc, and one more question is how to provide the access. Two things. So that's where this data proc is one service or one application. BigQuery is one service or one application. When two individual services wanted to interact and authenticate their self via program, that is nothing but that can be done via service account only. Okay, you create a service account. You create a service account here, and you will provide access to the data proc. And this service account, you will provide access to the data proc here as well. So from now on, whenever you are interacting with the data proc, whenever the pipeline is running, it is done via service account. So that service account will be having access to both data proc as well as BigQuery. And now, like your user account, how you have access to run or create a table, likewise the service account will also have some kind of a permissions entitled to that, so that it will also be able to provide the access to this particular data proc and BigQuery. That is the main intention of service account. But even though if I explain you this much also, if you are unable to get it, don't worry, we are going to create a service account. At that point of time you will get more information. Okay, so don't worry anything now. So the only thing I just wanted to give you the brief is that service account is nothing but an account used by an application and services to authenticate and interact with the GCP resources programmatically. Okay, who will be creating this service account? You are the one creating the service account. Why you are the one creating your service account? Because you wanted to remove the manual effort. You wanted to eliminate the manual effort. For that purpose, you create a service account and you tag it to the data proc and data BigQuery. So from now on, whenever a data proc wanted to create a table in the BigQuery via service account, because you told them You provide the access to the service account. Now you tagged the service accounts to the data proc. Now data proc has access to the service account, and I provide that has a permission. So data proc will be able to create a table in the BigQuery. Okay, don't worry if you don't understand it. I just want you guys to understand that it is nothing but a one more account like your user account. Okay, yeah. What is identity, sir? Identity can be a user account, identity can be a service account, identity can be a group of user account. Nothing but a people also call it as a Google groups. Okay, so that is what an identity in GCP represents: a user, group of users, or a service account. Identity can also refers to a service account, which is an account used by the applications and services to authenticate and interact with the GCP resources programmatically. Okay, now what is role? This is important. So far I got to know that these are identities. Okay, user account is there, service account is there, group of users are there. How this user can be, how this user can able to interact with the GCP. Okay, how this user have a access to interact with that particular GCP services. See, it's not direct because you created your account. So I'm going to give you this small example. Because you created your GCP free tier account, because of that reason your account is your, whatever the account that you have created right yesterday, that is, you are the admin to that particular account. So you created account right yesterday because you created it, so that's the reason you are the admin, so you can able to do anything in the GCP. That doesn't mean that this is the same thing in the companies. Okay, it doesn't mean that in this is going to be the same thing in the companies. In the companies, they don't provide you any admin access to you. You can't even touch a service also. Okay, so as soon as you entered into one of the project, assume that if this is a project and inside that there are three people are there. 1 and 2 are already working and you recently joined, and they are working on the tools like BigQuery, GCS, and some other tools. Okay, so they will be having access because someone has provided you the access to them. But if you wanted to, you also wanted to interact with these services. Okay, because here today you have created your account, you are the admin to that account, you can able to do anything here. But tomorrow when you joined in a company as a one more member to the project, you will not be having access to any of the service in the project. Any of the service you do not get it. So where and how you can able to achieve that access? Okay, that we are going to that I'm going to explain it now. Okay. Okay, I will show you guys, don't worry. So BigQuery, GCS, and if you have joined in one of the project, if you wanted to interact with the BigQuery and GCS, how do you get your access? That is via role. That is via role. Assume that. Let's not forget about the role. Okay, assume like this. Assume like this. So okay, this diagram gives you high level, but let me try to explain you. Let me explain somewhere here. Yeah, let me explain somewhere here and let us go there. Okay, assume like this. For example, your user account. Okay, and your manager too told you to, this is your account, guys. Okay, just assume that your user account, and told you to create a bucket inside the first day he told you to create a bucket inside the GCS. Okay, create a bucket in GCS. Okay, what do? You will need access to create a bucket in the GCS. So someone has to provide the permission to you. This is because this is the action that you wanted to do. The action is that creating a bucket inside the GCS. But someone has to provide the permission, right? So admin will come into the picture and he will provide you the permission. Okay, this permission he will provide you. So this is permission 1. And likewise, tomorrow your manager will come into the picture and he told you to create a bucket inside, create a table inside BigQuery. Okay, he told you to create a table inside the BigQuery. And you again go to the admin and you tell him that I want this particular action to be done. So, and he will do is that he will provide the permission again. He will provide one more permission because this is a different action, right? You are doing. So he will provide a permission too. Likewise, day after tomorrow, your client will come into the picture and he will do to create a pipeline. Create a pipeline inside the data proc. And again, you go to the admin and you tell him that, okay, I need this. I wanted to create a pipeline in the data proc. Can you provide me the permission? And what he will do, he will provide a permission. Okay, so every time, whatever the action you wanted to do, an admin wanted to provide the permission. Likewise, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, likewise, plenty of the actions you wanted to do. Each action you will be having a permission. Okay, instead, admin can do one thing. Okay, he will put all of this, whatever the permissions you needed, right? Whatever the permissions you needed, he will, all the group of permissions, he will create it as a role. Okay, all the permissions, whatever the permissions you needed, all the permissions, he will be creating it as a role, and that role he will be assigning it to you. Okay, so what he will do, instead of, he know that, because so your manager knows that you are working as a data engineer, you need some kind of a permissions. Okay, for that purpose, the admin come into the picture, and admin, what admin will do is that he will be creating a role. Okay, he will be grouping all of these permissions, and that role will be assigned to you. From now on, you need not to connect it to any of the admin. You can directly create a bucket, you can directly create a table, you can directly do this thing. So this is a concept of role. Now tell me, sir, can anyone tell me what is the role here? Correct, right? So set of permissions, a group of permission. A role is nothing but what? A group is group of permissions or a set of permissions. Permission 1, permission 2, permissions. Okay, a role is nothing but a set of permissions and which can be assigned to the account. If, but usually, can I call this a user account? Instead, can I call it as identities? Okay, because a role can be assigned to the identities. An identity can be a user account, an identity can be a service account, an identity can be a group of users. So this is the concept of IAM, very, very simple. Okay, people make it very hard to, they could not able to understand it, but this is this much simple. Okay, so a role will be assigned to the identities. From now on, identity can able to interact with the GCP. See here. So what we are doing, this is nothing but what, sir? These are the resources. Okay, these are the resources in the GCP. This is a role. A role is nothing but a set of permissions. An identity is nothing but a user account, service account, and a group of users account. So now this is a diagram that I have created you. So what is a permission? First thing, if you wanted to understand, a permission is nothing but access. Permission to access a resource isn't granted directly to the user. So because you cannot have a one permission, right? You need a plenty of permissions. A permission is nothing but a providing access, guys. Providing access, saying that okay, that guy can able to do that action. Okay, that is a permission. So you will be having a plenty of permissions. So permission 1, permission 2, permission 3, permission 4. Permission is nothing but a one task. You see here, what is this? So this is a very good example that I have given here. Creating one bucket is one permission. Creating table is one more. Creating a pipeline is one more permission. So a group of permissions is created. A group of permissions is nothing but a role. A role is assigned to users or a group of users or a service account. And what is a permission? Access allowed on resources. Access allowed on resources is nothing but what? Action. Some kind of action allowed on the resources. So that is what is a permission, sir. Hope this is clear. Anyone have any questions so far? Can you tell me? We are going some more deep. So far I just wanted to give you some idea. Now I think I have set up some kind of a context here. Okay. Any questions? Raise your hand. I will ask. Okay. I think we are good. If you are unable to understand also, can tell me, guys. I will try to explain it in a different terms. I think we are good. Okay. So what I wanted to do is that, let me just recap it. What is IAM? IAM is nothing but a managing. With IAM, you can manage access control by defining who has what access for which resource. IAM talks about the authorization. Let me go to the Google Cloud Platform now and show you where we actually take care of it. Okay. Where is this IAM and all? Let me try to show you guys, because with this one only we are going to learn everything. So we can go to the left navigation menu and click on this IAM and admin, or you can go to here and search for IAM and admin. So any which ways is fine. I will click on this thing. Okay, so here if you see, this is your IAM, and you will be able to see permissions for project for the project. Okay, so what I will do is that, for example, assume that I have a one account. I wanted to provide them one access. For that, what I will do is that, so you see here grant access, click on grant access. And the principals are identities, nothing but both are same. I told you that, okay, you don't confuse the nomenclature, it's just a nomenclature. Okay, if you can see here, sorry, if you can see here, I told you here either identities or you can call it as a principals. Identity and principals both are same. User account, service account, group of accounts. If you can go here, this is what it is explained here. Principals are the users, or groups, or domains, or service accounts. Okay, add here the principal. What is meant by principals are an account, right? So I will add any of the account. I will add some account, guys. Okay, I have added here one of the account. Sir, how I can add one more account? You can type one more account. That is also fine. Okay, you can add any number of accounts here. Account is nothing but a principal. Principal is nothing but an account. Account or user account or group of accounts or service account. Okay, and you see here assigned roles. See here, what is the definition of a role? Roles are composed set of permissions and determine what the principal can do with this resource, what an account can do with this resource, what that person can do with that particular service is explained by the role. So how do we assign a role? We click on this one and we have seen plenty of these roles. For example, sir, I wanted to create a table inside a BigQuery. Click on this BigQuery and you have a plenty of, for each service you have a roles here, you see. Likewise, you have a basic role also. So basic roles are the ones where you will be able to have a provide access to all, and you have a roles separated by a product and service also. So each service will have its own set of roles again. So we will see what is this the division of roles means. This when I look at the roles, there are three types of roles. One is basic roles. They are saying all about all the services. one more is product-wise services, product-wise roles, and one more is custom roles. So what is this one? Let us see now. Okay, so let me go, and what I will do is that let me go first, and here, as I was telling you, what is a role? If you can see here, a role defines a set of permissions that determine what action an identity can perform on the GCP services. A role will be assigned to the identities, and this role will specify what action can this particular identity can do, what action this particular identity can do, because a role is nothing but a set of permissions, right? So that is what it is. Okay, now you see here, a role is a collection of permissions. You cannot grant a permission to user directly. So there can be a one question also. Some people might be saying that, sir, can I directly provide a permission to the user? See, what I was telling is that, see, for example, I wanted to create a table. Okay, I wanted to create a table in the BigQuery, and for that work, this is just a permission. I don't want it to go for any of these things. This is just a permission. Can I directly provide a permission to the user account? Can this permission directly provided to the user account? No. Okay, so a single permission cannot be provided to the user accounts. You cannot grant a permission to the user account directly. Instead, you create a role and you provide you grant the role to that particular user. Okay, you grant them all the permissions that the role contains. Okay, that is what it is. So what I am saying is that, so for example, you create a table, and that is a permission. A set of permissions will be there. This set of permissions, I am creating a role, and that role will be assigned to the account. Okay, from now on, this account will be having all of these permission, nothing but all of the actions you can able to do. So that is what is the concept of roles. Okay, a role is a collection of permissions. You cannot grant a permission to a user directly. Instead, you grant them a role. When you grant them a role to a user, you are granting them all the permissions that the role contains. Let me actually show you where is this permissions in the GCP. Okay, so far I'm talking about roles, right? So let me go to show you where is the permissions. Okay, somewhere here, roles. Okay, when you click on roles, okay, these many roles are there, guys. Total, you will be having a plenty of roles. When you can able to see 1351 roles are there. Okay, so let me just select one of the role, that is BigQuery. Okay, one BigQuery data editor. Okay, so BigQuery data editor is one of the role. Okay, BigQuery data editor is one of the role. So when I say role, what does that mean? A set of permissions. So where I can see the permissions, I don't see any of the permissions here. I wanted to list out all the permissions under this role. For that, you click on this particular role. Now see how many permissions under this particular BigQuery data editor role. Can you guys tell me how many permissions are there? Totally 37 permissions are there, guys. Now see what that permissions are saying. Someone told me that I wanted to create a table in the BigQuery. So can I be able to provide this role because they need to create a table? See, BigQuery dot, okay, sorry, table, right? So BigQuery dot tables dot create. Likewise, someone need a delete also, BigQuery dot tables dot create. Someone need a BigQuery.models.create. Someone need a BigQuery.models.delete. I wanted to create a tables. I wanted to delete a tables. I wanted to export the tables. I wanted to create index. So all of those things, I cannot just provide a permission. I cannot just provide this particular permission. This is nothing but a one permission, right? What is this? This is nothing but a one permission. I cannot provide a one permission to the user account. Okay, I cannot provide a permission to the identity. Instead, I can provide a role to the user. Okay, instead what I can do, sir, I can provide or grant a role to the user. The role will have set of permissions. These are all the permissions. Sir, my requirement is that I wanted to, I mean, that is fine. So far you have told that I can't provide a permission to the one user directly. Instead, I am granting them a role. But now, sir, when I look at it, these are 37, but when I see it, I don't want it to provide them this role. These two roles, I don't, any 2 or 3 or any 5 or 10, select anything. So some of the roles listed out here, I don't want it to provide it to my account. Okay, one account is there. I don't want it to provide this particular 2 or 3 roles. So do we have any way? That also we will see. Okay, you are saying that, sir, BigQuery data editor comes up with the predefined permissions. Okay, but can I edit it? Of course, you can edit it. I will tell you how to do that. But before that, I want you guys to understand what is this BigQuery data editor role. A role is having set of permissions. If I apply this role or grant this role to the user, he will be having these permissions, all of these permissions from tomorrow onwards. So that is what is the main agenda of the role, sir. Okay, any questions, guys, so far? Yes, we can customize it. That we will go there. Yes, that we will go there. Okay, yeah. Okay, so let me go back to my slides and try to tell you. So a role is a collection of permissions. You can't grant a permission to the user directly. Instead, you grant them a role. When you grant them a role to user, you grant all the permissions to that particular role contains. Now see here, permissions. This is one permission, this is one permission, this is one permission, permission 2, permission 3, permission 4. Likewise, plenty of the permissions will be there. Permissions, nothing but a role. And the role will be assigned to, sorry, role will be assigned to user. Okay, sorry, I can't just say like this. Okay, let me mention like this. Okay, this role will be assigned to the user. These permissions now onwards the user will have. So what at this point, what it will say is that this single permission cannot be assigned to a user. This is not possible. Instead, you create a role, each and every, even though you want only this one particular permission, you create your own role. That is also fine. Okay, so set of permission, 1 permission, 2 permission, whatever, how many permissions, let's not worry about it. Okay, so that is what it is. Now, next thing is, sir, types of roles. Sir, do we have a types of roles? Yes. Basic roles, predefined roles, custom roles. What is basic roles? Basic roles, if I have to say, simply nothing but a access to all the, I mean, in general roles, sir. General. Okay, so what is meant by general is that it's going to be talking about all the services. All services. All services is nothing but it will be having only 3 roles. One is owner, one more is editor, one more is viewer. Only 3 roles. Okay, so owner, editor, and viewer. So if I provide a owner access, he is the owner of all the services in the GCP. All the services. Basic, nothing but a trait, all you can think of. Okay, editor, if I provide access to editor role to one of the user, if I provide it, what he is, no, he is the editor of all the services in the GCP. If I provide a viewer, no, he is the owner, he is the view, I mean, he can able to view anything in the GCP, any service, anything, all the services he will be able to view. So that is what is a basic. Basic is nothing but a trait all the services. We are talking about all the services. We are not talking about an individual service. This is called as a in general roles. These are not granular roles. These are in general roles. These are not specific to any service. These are in general services, in general roles. Okay. So for example, if I provide a owner, that means he will be the owner to all the services in the GCP. Editor means he will be the editor to all the services in the GCP. Viewer means he will be the viewer to all the services in the GCP. So that is what is nothing but a basic role. Okay, let me show you first thing. Okay, I can go to IAM. Okay, let me actually go and look at it. Let's see here. Okay, because it will not be shown here because these are the basic, right? Okay, let me show you. I just have shown you already, but let me show you one again. Click on grant access. Click. Let's not worry about the account. Let me click on this one. You see here basic. So read it out here. This one. Editor. View, create, update, delete most of the Google Cloud resources. Owner. Full access to the most Google Cloud resources list of included in permissions. Viewer. View most of the. That means all the services. So we are instead of, for example, sir, see here, I have a manager, I have my CEO of the company. In my CEO, I think that I am the CEO of the company. I wanted to have access to all the services in the GCP. In that case only you will be providing, you will be using the basic roles where you are just making them as a owner. So I will put the CEO's email account here. I will just make him the owner. So that is how I will be doing it. So what is meant by owner now? He is the owner of all the services. He can able to do anything in the GCP. So that is what is nothing but a owner. But so do we use basic roles in the company? No. Because basic roles are the ones which was actually created at first when the GCP or AWS are created, but basic roles were never used in the GCP. Earlier, there were no predefined roles, there are no custom roles, only basic roles were there. But later, they have discovered predefined roles and custom roles because basic roles provide the access to all the services in the GCP, which is a waste of money, waste of, I mean, it is not a good practice and it is not as a principle of least privileges. Okay, we will only provide the access to the right people at the right resources. We don't provide the extra access, we don't provide the less access. We will just provide the enough access to the enough resources. So that is nothing but a principle of least privilege. But basic what it will do, so this guy needs to work on that particular data prog. But if I provide him editor access to the basic editor access, he can edit to data prog, he can edit data flow, he can edit BigQuery. That is nothing but a misusing the services. So that leads to the misusing the services. So we never use basic roles in the GCP. Okay. Yeah. With this one, I am stopping the class for today. Okay. Tomorrow we will see predefined roles and custom roles. Okay. Yeah. Anyone have any questions? Yeah. The editor means he will be able to edit it. Yeah, that's what, right? So he can able to edit it. But for example, owner is there, right? So owner can edit it, provide access to some other people, he view it, and he will take care of the control of other people also. That means controlling is the extra specific feature you can say. Controlling others access as well. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I wouldn't say that they wouldn't use. 99% this will be used. Okay, 99% this will be used. Okay, there are very less chances that basic rules are also used. But it's not a good practice that if something is not used, they cannot provide the access, right? So it's the basic roles are the ones which was started at very first place. So they were keep on providing it because some people might be using it, right? Some people might be using it. But I now come with my experience, I'm telling, but there can be some people also still using it, right? So I cannot comment on that. So with my experience, I'm telling you that most of the companies will follow predefined roles and custom roles. Yeah. No, don't. There's no basic role concept. We don't actually implement that in the production, because if we implement it, that's where we are misusing the resources, and there is it leads to a plenty of complications. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yes. You can ask. Any guest roles also we can, for example, if you have a Google Cloud account and you wanted to provide some kind of I mean only for some of the services, you can just provide access and they can able to access control, view it or edit it. So that comes under any of the predefined role or custom roles. Guest roles are nothing but a predefined or custom roles also, you can able to do it. Or if you wanted to no sir, I just don't wanted to, okay, one thing I forgot it. I just don't want it to. I just make all. So there is also one more all users available. No, it's not coming. Something wrong. So here something actually users, all users will come here. I don't know why it is not coming today. Identity. Not this one. So you can also provide access to all the users for some point of time. So guest roles is nothing but I mean, you can make anyone as a guest role. That is also fine. You can do it, and you can also provide all users, all authenticated users. So that is also fine. That is also there. I just wanted to show you that, but it's not coming up. I don't know why. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yes, yes. Raise your hand if you wanted to talk. Okay, there are people. Yeah, yeah. So there is a one more question. One more guy is asking. Venkat CH, right? You are asking, right? Something. Yeah, you can ask. Of course, there is, for example, if you wanted to use some external marketplace solutions also, you can able to use it, and that support is also there, of course. Technically, you can raise an incident and they will be able to help you on that. So that is there. So you wanted to work with some specific use case, but you need some support from the Google Cloud. Of course, they will help you on that. You can create an instance, yes. It's a free of course. You can create any number of incidents and they will help you on that. We have seen people who create. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Someone, Dinesh Babu Rao, right? You are asking something. Yeah. So that's what. So when I say an access, it is specific to the project. Okay. So if you have some account and do you think in all other projects also he will be having the same access? No. Okay, so you have to again an admin has to provide the access to you again in that project also, otherwise you can't do anything. Yeah, it is specific to the, it's actually a very good point, guys. So whatever the roles, all these things is specific to the project, so that actually comes in our next upcoming things, I believe. Okay, I think it comes to the role binding. Okay, role binding, yeah, role binding policy you will be able to see. So here you see Google account role Policy project, yeah, here. So each thing will actually comes with the project. So IAM works with the organization, folder, project, and resources. Any of these things, it will be working with your members and roles. So everything is associated with the project. So one project has some roles, or if I go to some other project, do I get the same role? No. Okay. So each project is different, each roles are different, each policy is different. So I will tell you about this policy. Okay, tomorrow. Yeah, policy bindings, very important topic. That is our next topic only, right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Yeah. Okay. Okay. If it's a Gmail account, right? It will connect it to. It is connected to the Gmail directory, and if you try to enter some wrong thing, right? It will check that it is a wrong one. Okay. All our accounts are Google accounts. See. Okay. We can still give it if he has a Google account again that Google. See, user, when I say user, he's always a Google user. Okay. So he has to create an account, then only we will be providing the access. Otherwise, we are not providing it. Okay. If he is a guest, then we can provide it. Some amount of things he will be able to see it, but some amount of things he will not be able to see it. Yes, Google Cloud. Yeah. Okay. You can't, because if you are the owner of that account, of course you can provide. See, for example, I'm gonna tell you. So tomorrow, so for example, if you can give me your email and I will provide access to one of that, so you can go and access my project as. Okay, that is possible. That is what happens in the companies. Okay, yeah, sure. So I can add your email address and I will say that okay, you can go to my Google Cloud storage and you can able to view the buckets. If I say, so you will be able to, you will get actually a link, okay? Or you can directly go and just add my project, no? Then you will be able to see. All other services are rejected, but only cloud storage buckets you will be able to see because I provided only the access to that, right? So that kind of a things we can able to see. So that is what happens in the companies also. Okay, I'll just say storage bucket object viewer. If I can give you, if you can give me, then I will save it. So you will get actually a link and via your Gmail. And if you don't get also, I will just provide you the project ID. You go to the Google Cloud and here you can just search this project. Okay, whatever the project I have given, you can search it and click on enter, and then you will be able to go to that particular thing. Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys. So this is it for today. We will meet tomorrow. Okay. I think it's a Zoom only. Yes, of course it is. Yeah. Yeah. Throughout the sessions, it's a Zoom only. The video recordings you may be getting from a different platforms, but the sessions will be Zoom. Yeah. 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 One guy was asking CH Venkat, right? Yeah. Yes. Yes, separate admin will be there. Okay, separate admin will be there, but it's a very good practice because if you wanted to get certified, right? So these are the basic important concepts for associate cloud engineer, professional data engineer. So that's the reason we are covering. As a data engineer, we need not to, but it's a very good thing when you are having a good experience, and if you don't know about what is a predefined role, then it will be a problem, right? In terms of our knowledge. Yeah. So that we will ask them. Yeah, we will ask them saying that, okay, I need this particular access because I do not have this particular permission. So then it will be easy for the admin also get it, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you all. Yeah,
Shaidhul,
yeah.
we can see others user roles as well, right? Do we have capability to?
Roles.
Means
I think you can
if I am
see.
one of the user, I want to see roles of other user. Is it possible?
If you are admin, you will be able to see it, and
Okay.
if you are a user, I think you can still see it.
Okay. Okay.
You can still see it. If you are in that particular project, you are the project member, you can still see it. Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you all.